For years, The Witcher 3 was considered complete. It stood as a definitive RPG experience, fully realized, polished, and ultimately shelved as one of the greatest video games ever made. However, a new leak has surfaced that challenges that assumption entirely. According to a growing body of evidence, CD Projekt Red may be preparing a brand new paid expansion for the game, targeting a release window in 2026. This is not rumored to be a small piece of downloadable content or a cosmetic update, but a full narrative expansion that could act as a bridge between the end of The Witcher 3 and the beginning of the next Witcher saga. The origin of this leak is crucial to understanding why it has gained so much traction. This information did not come from an anonymous forum post or speculative social media thread. Instead, it was investigated and reported on by Eurogamer, a long-standing and reputable outlet within the gaming industry. Eurogamer traced the rumor back to the Polish gaming community, which historically has been the earliest and most reliable source of information regarding CD Projekt Red projects. From there, Eurogamer spoke directly with Boris Nishilik, a Polish film director and industry insider known for accurately hearing about projects well before they are officially announced. According to Nishilik, the information regarding a 2026 expansion was verified by multiple independent sources. The emphasis on independence is important, because when several people who are not connected to one another report the same information, it significantly increases the likelihood that the claim is legitimate. While Nishilik did not provide extensive news story details, he pointed Eurogamer toward what would become the most compelling piece of evidence: a specific earnings call transcript buried within CD Projekt Red's recent financial report. In that earnings call, CD Projekt Red's chief financial officer made a carefully worded statement indicating that new content hinted at in recent reports could be released in the coming year, and that this release would meaningfully impact the company's financial results and help meet the earnings conditions tied to executive incentive programs. This wording is critical. Large corporations like CD Projekt Red do not tie executive bonuses to minor updates, patches, merchandise, or small-scale content releases. For such content to affect financial performance in a measurable way, it must be a paid product launch with substantial sales potential. When examining CD Projekt Red's current project lineup, the mystery becomes clearer. The Witcher 4 has already been confirmed as not releasing in 2026, with internal timelines suggesting it may not arrive until closer to 2028. The Cyberpunk sequel is also years away, and Cyberpunk 2077 itself concluded its post-launch content cycle with Phantom Liberty. That effectively leaves only one viable candidate for revenue-generating new content within the proposed timeframe: a paid expansion for The Witcher 3. Eurogamer reached out to CD Projekt Red for comment on the report, and the company responded with its standard corporate line that it does not comment on rumors or speculation. While this response may appear neutral on the surface, within the gaming industry it is often interpreted as a soft confirmation. When rumors are demonstrably false, studios typically issue clear denials to manage expectations and protect investor confidence. The refusal to deny a specific claim about a product releasing in a specific year suggests that the company is simply not ready to announce it yet. In this context, the silence speaks volumes. Another important aspect of the leak is the repeated use of the word expansion rather than DLC. For CD Projekt Red, this distinction matters greatly. Historically, the studio uses DLC to describe smaller additions, while expansion refers to large-scale narrative content such as Hearts of Stone, Blood and Wine, or Phantom Liberty. These expansions typically offer 20 to 30 hours of gameplay, introduce new regions, mechanics, and characters, and deliver stories that rival full standalone games from other studios. Reports indicating a development budget of roughly $14 million further reinforce the idea that this project is far beyond the scope of a minor add-on and is instead positioned as a premium expansion, likely priced in the $20 to $30 range. As for the story itself, the prevailing theory centers on Ciri. CD Projekt Red has already hinted that Geralt's journey is largely complete, even though he may still appear in future titles. Ciri, on the other hand, is a fan-favorite character whose story and powers naturally lend themselves to a new gameplay focus. This rumored expansion could feature Ciri as the sole playable protagonist, potentially exploring what she does after the events of the main game and showing how she officially becomes a Witcher. Such a narrative would neatly bridge the gap into the next saga and eliminate the need for extensive exposition when The Witcher 4 begins. From a development standpoint, this approach would also make sense. An expansion focused on Ciri would allow CD Projekt Red to refine her combat mechanics, expand her skill tree, and fully explore her teleportation abilities in an open-world environment. This would effectively turn the expansion into a live testbed for systems that will later appear in The Witcher 4, while simultaneously passing the torch from Geralt to Ciri in a narratively satisfying way. Timing-wise, an announcement could logically occur around March, when CD Projekt Red typically holds major earnings calls and outlines its financial strategy. If the expansion is meant to impact 2026 revenue, marketing would need to begin well before release. That said, there is also speculation that the studio could opt for a surprise or shadow drop, leveraging the immense popularity of The Witcher 3 to generate instant hype without a prolonged marketing campaign. A sudden reveal followed by an immediate release would likely dominate gaming discourse overnight. There is also a technical dimension to consider. CD Projekt Red has already confirmed ongoing work on features such as console mod support and additional updates. Bundling a final major expansion with a substantial technical update would allow the studio to revitalize the game one last time, delivering a definitive version that combines new content, improved systems, and expanded MOD functionality. When all of these elements are considered together, the independent insider confirmations, the explicit financial language used by the CFO, the strategic gap in CD Projekt Red's release schedule, the refusal to deny the report, and the narrative logic of focusing on Ciri, the likelihood of a Witcher 3 expansion in 2026 becomes increasingly difficult to dismiss. If the leak is accurate, players may soon return to the continent for one final journey, not just to relive the past, but to step directly into the future of the Witcher franchise.